Okay, so I wanted to go over every feature so far in Pick Playground. So let's start off with the controls. Let's go down here to the bottom right, hit the question mark. That'll pop up the controls. So uh, W, S, A, and D are your main controls. It's kind of like standard keyboard video game controls. So W is boom up, S is boom down, A and D are swing left, swing right. Z and X, you can boom in or out. You can also change the boom length with control and a number. So you hit control 1, that's scoped all the way in. Control 2 is one scope section out. Control 3, control 4, control 5, whatever, Makes sense, right? Load controls. So left and right, that basically simulates taglines on the load. Obviously, cranes can't rotate the load left and right like this, but up and down on the arrow keys, that's cable up and down. Spacebar drops whatever object you have defined right here, which you can change over here in the load dimensions. You can turn that into whatever you wanted it to be. Um, just whatever object you have right now on the hook, you hit spacebar and it becomes a real object with real gravity in the world, and you can just drop it into the world there. You can also pick up any object by hitting spacebar if you're colliding with it with your current object. So if, like right now down here, I'm intersecting with this one, I'm gonna hit spacebar again, I'm gonna pick it up. And that basically that behaves like you're picking up whatever you have, no matter what you have currently as a load. So for example, say I had like a tiny little 2 by 2 box as my load. If I have that box intersecting with something else and I hit spacebar, what I'm gonna delete it from the world and absorb its qualities and pick it up onto my hook, basically. So that's really useful for planning a load in or load out situation, which we'll get into more of that later. Camera controls. If you hold down the right mouse button, you can look around. If you keep the right mouse button held down and you use W, S, A, and D, that'll kind of basically act like a video game ghost character moving through the world. You can just like hold W and hold right mouse button and just point and look around and just travel wherever you want to, or you can use a combination of all the keys at the same time. P switches between views, so there's only one view where you can change the camera, and that's this free view right here. So if you hit P one time, you'll go to plan view. If you hit P another time, you'll go to profile view. So one more time on P gets you back into the free camera mode. We'll stay right here while I go over the settings on the right bar, and then we'll kind of go over some of the bonus features in plan view. So over here to the right, crane size, you can choose between a 40 ton, a 90 ton, 170 ton, or a 300 ton currently. And these charts are kind of like rudimentary right now. I plan on soon, I'm going to make them a lot more accurate. I'm going to use the actual charts from actual crane manuals. Right now, I'm only using like 7 different zones. Like actual charts will give you like a whole giant table with a shitload of values for pretty much any boom length, up to like every 5 or 10 feet or whatever. Right now, basically, I have a very rough chart for like every 30 feet of boom, you get a different chart out, but it's useful still for planning like basic picks. So you can change your load weight down here in the bottom right. So right now it defaults to 2,000. I can change it to, let's say, 25,000. And so what that does is it'll go off of whatever crane size you have selected right here, and it'll give you an indication of how far you can boom down. So I'm gonna just keep booming down, booming down, booming down with 25,000 with the 170 ton. Booming down, booming down, booming down, booming down, booming down, booming down, booming down. I'm not all the way scoped out either, but you see what happened right here? I just hit 80 feet, and the radius turned red. So that means I'm out of chart. Like I should not be in this zone right now with this pick. 25K, 80 feet with how much would I have out? 104. Yeah, I should. With what angle am I at? 29 degrees. I should not be here. This radius is red because this is a no go. So booming up a little bit, that puts me back in my chart. So that's like one of the main use cases of this app right here. It's just a big 3D tool that looks up a crane chart for you. But it goes a little bit deeper if you'll bear with me. So over here, you can change the slew rotation by using A or D, or you can use the spin box over here. And you'll notice what just happened right there, warning collision with boom detected. That's actually the main reason I made this app. So you'll see right here, it's kind of ghosting through the boom because I rotated the load, I'm sorry, I rotated the slew without rotating the load. And that's a major point that we deal with when rotating arches in the field, is maintaining a relative rotation of the load relative to the boom as you rotate the boom slew. You really have to have the guys on tag line on point. Otherwise, something like this could happen. Collision with boom detected, right? That's fucking all bad. Boom angle, like you can change that with W and S, which is the preferred way right now. Or you can come over here, you can set whatever angle, you can type it, or you can hit up arrow, down arrow, whatever. Cable paid, that's the amount of cable down you have from the boom tip to your hook, which the hook is represented obviously by this red ball right now. I'm going to improve the graphics eventually, but just, for right now, it's not what it's about. It's more of a tool than a game. Bridle width. This is you can control how far your bridle spread is. So a typical spread I do is usually 25 off center or 35 off center, and that would be represented by a 50 or a 60 value right here. This is in feet, obviously for now. Bridle legs, that changes the length of your bridle legs. So that's typically I'll use 40-foot steels on a 50-foot spread, and you can only spread it obviously as far as your actual load width. So let's say we have a 50-foot load width, and I want a bridle width of 40 feet. It'll kind of automatically pick up to wherever it needs to be to make that happen. You can just kind of watch it in real time right here. Just bridle width narrowing with the same bridle legs. These are 40-foot steels, and this is what it looks like if they're super narrow, and this is what it looks like if you spread them out. The load picks up a little bit. Obviously, you lose some height right there. You can keep the same spread but play with the legs right here. This is a super useful tool for this alone, I think. Yeah, obviously you can change whatever dimension you want for the load. This would be one way to simulate a problem. You could just basically design a wall right here with the box load type. Kind of just put it wherever you wanted to put it. Say there's a wall right there and you have to spin an arch past that wall. Well, now we're going to model that problem. Okay? So now I can go over here to load type, and I'm going to change it to arch. Right now that gives me a basic ass arch right here with 2 segments at 15 degrees. I can change that angle right here to whatever I want it to be. It steps up in values of 2.5 degrees right now. And I can change the number of segments right here. So a typical arch that we do is looks kind of like this. Actually, okay, so I have this advanced arch builder over here. If you hit this button, the hamburger icon over here. So that'll let me play with different angles at different sections. So I'm going to build one right now that might seem familiar. 14 segments. Apex angle is like, it's either 27.5 or 30. It's some shit like this. Second angle, that's a 7.5 degree. It's a 7.5 degree. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. First angle is actually, the second angle is actually 0 degree. Next second angle is actually 0 degree. Then it's a 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 15. Alright, so now this is the onion, the arch we have at the knot center right now. So I can take this arch and I can boom it up, down, whatever I want, swing it left or right, and I can see when it's going to hit something, when it's going to hit the boom, when it's going to hit an object. I can look at it from different views. I can set a custom view. Over here, if my ground clearance turns red, that means I need to cable up because I'm in the ground. So yeah, those are your two main indicators that, your pick's not going to work. Your ground clearance turns red or your radius turns red, or both. Obviously, that means it's no va funcionar. Alright, so real quick, you can go up here to the top right and reset everything. So real quick, I just wanted to model a problem. Oh, actually, sorry, I didn't. There's one feature I wanted to go over real quick. So let's drop a couple objects into the world. Maybe make an arch. So if you're in plan view, you can click and drag the crane and click and drag objects. And you can also set a forward backward value or a radius value. The radius will move it diagonally away from whatever angle it's currently sitting. But the forward backward value, this is how I would model like bases away from a crane. So I know for a fact my center of gravity away from the final position is going to be 40 feet. Usually that's what I like to set up. So if there's two bases, I can model them as being 40 feet away from the crane. So I'm going to click that one, double click this one, the forward backward of the crane, set them both to 40. Then I can set the left and right from the crane. And typically that'll be something like 100 or negative 100 for two bases. I can pretty much just move it however I want to. And just real quick, let's just kind of use everything I just showed you to model a problem. And this is a super common problem that we face in the field. So I'm going to go to plan view to kind of just show you what we're going to do. So here, I'm going to boom out a little bit. I'm just going to make an arch. I'm going to say it's one of those arches we built earlier. It's going to be, start with the apex angle, something like that. Second angle 0, third angle 0, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 15. Okay. We're going to set its rotation to 0. I'm going to drop it into the world. Okay, I'm going to go to plan view. I'm going to click it. I'm going to set its left and right from the crane, which is, in this case, that's its forward backward, in this, if you're going to rotate everything 90. So we'll say that it's going to be 40 feet away. We'll keep it negative 40, sorry. Keep it on the same side of the crane right there. So, okay. Let me drop another one into the world. (0 degrees elsewhere). And we'll say that one is going to be at negative 80. So here is a common situation that we do in the field, right? So I've got two arches right here, and I've got the crane 40 feet away. So this arch is 40 feet away from this arch, and this crane pin is 40 feet away from this arch. So let's just model a regular box again. So we can just pretend we're just going to pick something up. Low type box, width 1, height 1, depth 1. Okay, so change views. Alright, so here is how to swing an arch. We're going to pick up this arch right here. I'm going to rig it up. Collision with object detected, that's what I want. I'm going to hit spacebar. This arch is now picked up. Okay. I'm going to set the bridle legs to 40. Actually, I'm using 50s. I'm using, right now, I'm using a 70-foot spread, 35 off center. So bridle width, that's going to be 70. Okay. So here is the whole reason Pick Playground exists. So this is for you to set up this problem and see what you need to do to get this arch out of here without hitting this other arch or hitting the boom. So let me show you what happens right here. If you pick up this arch and you just have the operators swing one side or the other, and you're not super on top of your tagline people. This is exactly what happens right here. Swinging right, swinging right, swinging right, collision with boom detected, right? This is also why you don't want to just pick it up and rotate it on the ground either. Rotate on the ground, collision with object detected. We're hitting the other arch. So swinging the arch is a very complicated maneuver where you want to have the crane operator start to swing out one way or the other, and then you need to stay on top of your tagline people and make sure that they follow in the ground rotation somewhere about this point. But not too much before the crane operator is able to get it far enough swung away from this other arch. So there's a certain point where you're able to actually pass underneath the other arch. Right here, I'll show you. We're already there. But at that point, you're already dangerously close to this boom. So this is just something you can set up yourself the way I just showed you and play around with to your heart's content until you're confident you understand how to swing big heavy shit on a crane.